Welcome to another video with the DW Collective. This is a real test that happened recently at the Nottingham Colwick Test Centre. I'm going to be giving a voiceover today and pointing out any faults and helpful tips. So for some reason the dashcam didn't kick in until a few minutes into the test. So we've come out of the test centre to the first roundabout, taking the first exit on the left, following down Mile End Road to these traffic lights, and he's told to turn left. And whenever it's safe, could you show me how you'd wash the front windscreen, please? Brilliant, thank you very much. Okay, at the roundabout, I'd like you to follow the road ahead, second exit. And at the next roundabout, I'd like you to do the same thing, follow the road ahead, second exit, please. And here we've indicated left and the indicator stayed on as we enter the roundabout. Lucky for the pupil, the indicator naturally turned off, so he only got a driver fault for incorrect signal. At the next set of traffic lights, follow the road to the left, please, following signs for M1 and Loughborough A60 to the left. Okay, so the examiner clearly states that he'd like the pupil to move into the second from the left lane, lane 2, following signs for M1, there it is. Instead, the pupil goes straight into lane 1, which is the far left lane, which will then put him on the route to Lady Bay Bridge. They've now made it quite difficult for themselves because they're going to have to change lanes and move over to the right-hand lane on this next section. The examiner says that we're going to follow the road ahead at the next set of traffic lights, and the pupil needs to check their mirrors, signal and move over safely. This could have been avoided if we're in the correct lane in the first place. Okay, so I'd like you to take the next road on the left, please. It is legally a left turn, however, it looks straight ahead. So the examiner is hinting here that the pupil needs to indicate as they cross into the new road, which looks straight ahead, even though it is technically a left turn. There is a left turn just after, so you need to make sure you take your signal off straight away. The pupil then correctly moves into the left lane, turning left at the traffic lights. Okay, so I'd like you to stay in this lane and follow road markings for West Bridgeford. So just stay in this lane, follow the road markings for West Bridgeford. And can we take the next road on the right, please? I'd like you to take the next road on the left, please. Take the next road on the left. Now this junction can be quite tight to turn into with parked cars either side, so if you are on this route, take it steady round this corner. Okay, so I'd like you to pull up on the left just before the last car on the road. Don't worry about the driveways on this stop, okay? Okay, we're going to do the angled start, so don't get too close to them. No, stop just here. Also, we're now going to start the independent drive. I'm going to set up the sat-nav and I'd like you to follow the directions on the sat-nav, listening to it and watching the blue directions on the screen. Please don't take any notice of the speed limits on the sat-nav because they may be incorrect. So make sure you read the signs and the speeds on the road and pay no attention to the sat-nav speed limits. Okay, drive on when you're ready, please. Now this can be frowned upon. The pupil has decided to reverse backwards to give himself more room for the angled start. Normally you should leave sufficient space to pull out from where you pull up. However, it is very tight here, so the examiner lets it go. At the end of the road, turn right. Then at the end of the road, turn right. Turn right, and at the end of the road, turn right. Go right on the roundabout second exit. When turning round a mini roundabout, it's important to not let your wheels touch the white circle in the road as best you can. My pupil actually touches the white on this time, but the examiner lets it go. Go left on the roundabout first exit. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit. Turn right. Okay, so before you get to the little white silver car in front, I'd like you to pull over on the left just before it, please. On this occasion, don't worry about the drop curbs or the road markings, just leave yourself plenty of room. Okay, so this is going to be your reverse manoeuvre. What I'd like you to do is pull up alongside the car and then reverse back, keeping fairly close and parallel to the curb and finishing within about 2 car lengths, please. There are some driveways on the left, so don't worry about if you block them for this manoeuvre. And for the purpose of this manoeuvre, don't worry about the road markings, okay? However, the drop curbs, you need to treat it like one normal high-raised curb all the way along, so there's no drop curbs. Okay, so the Ford KA that he's having to parallel park round is quite a small car, and the pupil picks up a driver fault for control and one for observations during this manoeuvre. The road also tilts away. You can't really see on camera, but where the road meets the pavement, it's actually quite rough and also slopes away quite steep. So it is actually quite difficult to find the correct placement to be near the curb. Now, the pupil reverses back well, and then we start to have cars coming towards us. When you have cars approaching from either the front or behind us, it's best to stop and wait and let them through where you can, or at least pause to see what they want to do. Now, this manoeuvre is completed. However, the pupil does have to correct it. He ends up too far away from the curb and has to pull in and then pause and then straighten up by reversing back again. And the reason for the observations fault is because he doesn't wait when cars are trying to pass. Never rush your manoeuvre. You have plenty of time to do it. The examiner will patiently wait while you do your manoeuvre. So just make sure you're doing all your blind spots and checking and pausing when the cars are trying to pass. And just take your time. At the end of the road, turn left. And at the very end of the road, turn left. Keep right. After 300 yards, turn right at the traffic lights and then right 4th exit at the roundabout. Turn right and then at the roundabout, go right, taking the 4th exit. Now this is where it all goes wrong for the pupil. They've incorrectly gone into the middle lane, knowing that the test centre is off to the right and they should be in the right lane, lane 3, to position themselves in the right-hand lane for the roundabout coming up. So at this point, I was hoping the pupil would get round to the straight, check the mirrors, signal and move over. The road splits from 2 lanes into 4 lanes. We end up in lane 1. We needed to be in lane 3 to correctly manoeuvre round the roundabout and head back towards the test centre. Now, at this point, the sat-nav has said on several occasions to turn right at the roundabout 4th exit. The pupil says nothing and continues in lane 1. So the only option for the pupil now is to go in the wrong lane round to the left towards the city centre, and this wouldn't be a fail because it's the safest thing to do. Unfortunately, the pupil seems to panic, swerves slightly to the left and bumps the curb, and then indicates to move over to lane 3 from lane 1. And this is just, it's not going to be a success. They end up stopping 3 lanes of traffic and coming to almost a complete standstill themselves while they wait for somebody to let them in. And this is a serious fault for mirrors changing direction. Again, if the pupil had just carried on in the wrong lane, they wouldn't have failed. They would have just been rerouted by the examiner back towards the test centre.